What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode number 16. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
I'm about to talk the most I did in the past week. Let's hope for the best.
Is that ever, like, an actual concern for you when you're, like, you know, off work or, like, not around people, just like, wow, I'm so out of practice talking. I hope that I can do it when it's time again.
Oh no, for you and me screwing around, it's really like the buildup of I have a week's worth of vocal nonsense to get out. Was more so to our preamble conversation of I'm once again fighting the great illness that I always get, and I cough a lot, so I'm gonna try and mute myself the whole time. So we're going to play a dangerous game because I haven't talked much because my throat hurts. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, it's like this podcast is like the postal service in sickness and rain and in shine. We're going to be here talking about Kamen Rider. So
that's exactly what I thought. I was like, I don't skip my real shitty job. I'm not going to skip this job. Like, you know,
the good job that we have.
I got work to do.
Got work to do. Exactly. And work we will do. And I'm ready to get into it. The week where Kamen Rider didn't happen was a bummer because it was also a week where I had like the most free time and I would have wanted to watch more Kamen Rider and I couldn't.
It's funny because
go ahead.
Last week, usually when I monitor like our social stuff and post when the video comes out, on like Thursday came and went, and then Friday was starting, and I was like, man, did Josh fuck up and not upload an episode this week? And then I thought to myself, I was like, oh wait, we had off last week. The show had off. We didn't do anything.
Yeah, we just we didn't have an episode. Yeah. Did you watch anything? Did you watch anything? Did you get up to anything while we were off that's worth talking about?
No, I feel like I had a story at some point, but I really don't remember it anymore. So I'm going to say I didn't really do much, but play a lot of video games like usual.
Nice.
And then entirely too much running around for holidays, as always.
I'm playing some weird video games right now that are maybe worth talking about. One I've been playing a friggin' ton of is Queue Up. Have you heard about this game?
I haven't, but because you share your gaming prowess on a Discord.
Uh-huh.
I noticed you played it. I feel like I looked at it at one point and was like, this seems like one of those kind of games, and just kind
of... So it's a weird game. So I didn't understand it. Even in starting to play it, it took a while for me to like fully wrap my head around sort of what the joke was and what the game is. So it is, it presents itself as a coin flipping esport. So you pick a character and you match into a match. You have teammates, you're against another team, and each turn they flip a coin and your team's either victorious or you lose based on the coin flip. And then that's like the dressing of the game. But the thing that makes it an actual game is you have all these skills and abilities that you can equip on this giant grid, and you can lay them out however you want, and they all have different effects that can like interact with each other. So it's like, oh, when you flip a coin and these two things are true, then you get, you know, plus X currency or whatever, and then you have another thing that's like trigger the node directly above this, so then you can have that thing happen twice. So you get these like super elaborate webs of skills that are all firing off like, you know, hundreds of times in some cases for every coin flip that happens, and that's like the game is sort of like maximizing that process. And that is like, it scratches the itch in my brain that like needs to like tinker with stuff and put things in order and stuff like that. So it's a very weird game and very hard to explain, but it has proven to be very sticky for me. And
is it multiplayer?
It is. So I don't. I've put a lot of hours in this game, and I don't actually know the answer to that, to be completely honest with you.
So, like looking at the Steam store, it has the badges for online PvP, online co-op, and cross-platform multiplayer.
Yeah. So I think technically, I think you are actually matching against real people who are also playing the game. That's certainly how it presents itself, is that you are on a team with real people, and you're playing against real people, but those people don't need to be there for it to exist, right? It's just a coin flip.
Yeah.
So you can actually play it. You can set it into like offline mode, and the game is exactly the same as if you were in online mode. So I don't actually know if it's just grabbing player names and pretending like it's a live match, or if it actually is a live match when you're playing online. I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, because like looking at the visuals, it looks like Overwatch, but coin flipping.
Yes,
So I was
that is
trying to figure out
exactly
if
what
it
they're
was.
going for. Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out if it was actually um, like actual like PvP, like actual team stuff, or just a single player simulator kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, like it's essentially a single player simulator, but like other people may or may not be there. Like they are there in the set dressing, but like functionally, they don't really matter. The most that they matter is like you might have an ability that cares about how many people are playing a certain class. So it's like, oh, if you see two medics, then your skills get better, or whatever it might be. So like that's the most that it matters what the other people are doing, but for the most part, it's just the coin flips, and then your abilities fire off, and that's the only thing that really happens.
Okay, so the dev, because I went to Google and find out. It says so it's asynchronous, kind of. It's
Okay,
you'll be match made synchronously with other real humans that are playing at the time if they exist, but the actual playback of the match is not synchronous once the matchmaking is complete.
okay, that was my guess, was that it was mostly faked, which is sounds like is the answer. It's like it's people names they're playing, but like we're not actually there's no rollback net code here or anything going
Yeah.
on. Yeah. But it's cool. Yeah, I would recommend anyone who is into kind of like weird tinkery games like that to check it out. They just added a a like a run based version that is very like Slay the Spire type thing. So your character essentially is a hacker, and you can unlock abilities and skills from all of the other classes. So you can mix and match and do really crazy stuff. But you have to like continue to advance because you only have a certain number of matches to reach a certain like experience threshold. So you have to basically keep winning to keep progressing in that mode, which is a crazy thing to add to the game. Like it's this whole like replayability thing that wasn't there before. So yeah, queue up, very fun. And that I played a lot of that over our time off.
Yeah, I must have just went to the Steam page, or at least like or looked at a picture and noticed you playing it and said like, oh, he's playing some weird 5v5 PvP game. I just kind of like ignored it kind of deal.
Yeah, I first saw Jeff Gersman playing it,
It
and
doesn't surprise me.
I watched him play it for like 20 minutes. And at the end of that 20 minutes, because like he didn't show like the tutorial or anything, the part that I saw, it was just like random middle of the gameplay. And I watched it for 20 minutes, and I literally didn't understand what was happening by the end of that 20 minutes. Like it was completely nonsense to me
Awesome.
until but it seemed intriguing. But until I actually like booted it up and like started to, you know, incrementally work through it, did it start to make sense? Speaking of starting to make sense, Toby, let's jump into Kamen Rider, because that made a lot of sense this week to get back into the swing of that. We watched Kamen Rider episode 16, Kamen Rider Zeztz episode 16 this week. And I gotta say, this episode had fucking everything, man. This was great. We had fucking motorcycle jousting. We had just like a dude getting fucking thrown off a balcony and exploded. This was great. Everything about this was top notch for me.
It was the most American version of Kamen Rider or Sentai, including Power Rangers, I've ever seen in
Hell yeah.
all my 42 years of life.
Exactly. And that's why it was so good. And there's nothing more American than starting the show off where our friend Baku is professing his love for Nem. He's at a Nem New Year fan meetup, and he's leading the cheer at the beginning, and he talks about his dream of Mount Fuji and a hawk and the eggplant, which we found out in the Discord is apparently a really common thing in Japan, and it's a lucky thing to dream about for your first dream of the new year.
So like I've said in the past, like kind of can do the lucid thing, whatever. Do you think it's easy or possible that just any person whatsoever can think so hard about like Hawk Eggplant Mountain before they go to bed on New Year's Eve that you could actually will that dream into existence?
Absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt.
And then follow up, do you think people lie and say they had the dream when they didn't?
I would say about 95% of people saying they had the dream are lies. Yeah.
Oh, before since we're talking about New Year and before I forget, the one story I did want to ask you. So we're gonna swerve real quick, because just because. So, do you think people would stay up for New Year's Eve and do the whole party until midnight thing if most of the world did not have off the next day? Like New Year's Eve this year was a Wednesday night.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
if everyone had to go to work on Thursday, do you think people stay up until New Year's, or do you think they just go to bed at normal time and say see you next year?
I certainly think a higher percentage of people just go to bed at normal time at that point. Cause like most of the people that I know, at least, are definitely like they stay up, but it's kind of like begrudgingly so. Like I feel like
That's what
most
I
people
do.
that I interact with is like, I mean, I guess I will, but I'm going to bed the second the stupid ball drops. Yeah, so I feel like if most people had to work the next day, it'd be a lot more like, no, I got work in the morning. Who cares?
Yeah, that's basically in my younger years. I would go out and do stuff, but basically, like once midnight hit, I would be like, okay, all the rest of the insane people are coming out soon. I'm going home now. And much to that same vibe now, as soon as New Year's hits, I chug my champagne and go, yep, bedtime, and literally just turn off the TV and go to bed.
Yep. Yeah. It's I don't know, it's like not a fun thing to do. Like I don't know, like I'm not really excited about like going out and like going to the club or anything on New Year's.
You don't need the
Um
pageantry.
I don't yeah, I don't need that. So if you're doing it at home, like even if you have people over, which we did, we had a couple people over and we played Jackbox games through the evening, which was fun. But like, yeah, even with like people there and it's at home, you're just watching it on TV, and like Times Square is kind of such an annoying thing to have to look at. like like it's just crowded with people. Everyone looks miserable. Everyone's kind of like screaming in all the interviews they talk to them.
Everyone
And
has
then
their
they
best diapers on because you can't leave or you lose your spot, and there's no bathrooms out there.
Yep, yep, exactly. They actually interviewed one person about the diaper that he was wearing, and he was all like excited because he had like panty liners on, and he thought he could pee and then rip one off. And then the girl next to him was like, she looked at him and she's like, "That's not gonna work." So yeah, multiple diaper conversations for sure. I don't know, just the whole experience of watching the whole Times Square pageantry is off-putting to me anymore. So it's a weird holiday. Like I never end a New Year's Eve feeling like good, really, for the most part. Like I mean, like, maybe I had fun in the evening, but like I don't know, it doesn't like fill me with hope for the future or anything like that. It's just like, oh yeah, this is a very American thing that I'm looking at here.
That's what it
To
feels
go.
like. That's always what it feels like to me too. So especially like I don't know if other places across the world have off the next day. That was a bold assumption, I guess. That's for whatever reason I thought about it when I was forcing myself to stay up. I was like, this is absurd because for any other day, for any other thing, like no one would really give a shit. Everyone would just like tap out, go to bed, and be like, okay, tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
because everyone has off New Year's mainly, it turns into this whole like weird different thing. And literally all we're like I know it's celebrating a new year, blah blah blah, but really like we're celebrating the same thing that happens 364 times the rest of the year. We
Yeah.
just cherry pick one extra day to be like, this is the party day for it though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Um Also like the last I would say 5 years haven't felt much like celebrating if things worth celebrating. Like COVID was multiple years of them and stuff. It just there's just always been like, for a few years now have been reasons that I've been happy to see one year end, I guess, but the next one doesn't necessarily seem better.
Yeah, never know.
Yeah,
Never
never
know
know.
until we do it.
Yep, yep, exactly.
So
Um
yeah, so Hawk Mountain Eggplant,
Yeah, yeah.
big party.
So everybody's lying about their dreams in Japan. That's pretty much confirmed. Um, I love that combination of things. That's such a funny list of things. Mount Fuji, Hawk, and eggplant. Just great.
It's
But
basically like a Resident Evil puzzle where like you're switching the three padlocks and you have to find the right emblems. It's just like the random like spinny wheels of nonsense items.
yep, totally. Yeah, it exactly feels like that. Yeah. I did look it up. So the link that was shared in the Discord, there are other items as well. So the list does go on, but people mostly don't know those things. But like, one of them is I think like a blind acupuncturist. That's the sixth thing in the list. It was like
That's
I
a crazy
dreamed
one.
about yeah a blind acupuncturist.
It,
Japan's
it,
weird sometimes.
yeah, it's kind of like the people that can count real far into like digits of pi. Same
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
most people know like the 3.14 Hawk Eggplant Mountain. And then other people are like, no, but there's more. There's acupuncturist and one-eyed dragon and Mount Fuji and so forth.
There is a digit of pi that you hit where people stop being impressed and start being like, what is this guy's problem? Why does he know this many digits of pi? There is a point you cross where that becomes true.
I feel like people either know the main three digits like 3.14, or they know two digits past the 1 4 around there, or people know like 250 digits. And there's no like happy medium. Like no one
Yeah,
knows 10. They know 3 or 100.
that is very true. Yeah, that is very true. Well, jumping back to Baku, we find out he was fan number 7 in Nem's official fan club, in the stream, of course,
Of
and he
course.
brags about it to the person that is sitting beside him, and of course she'll come up later. But we find out that he's in this dream because Nem is, as I guess, captured by a nightmare. And I thought that this was a cool scene. She's like dressed like Little Red Riding Hood, and she's looking in the mirror, and then the monster just kind of like appears behind her, like he's like drooling at the thought of eating her. And that felt a bit like a scene from like Garo or something. It didn't really feel very Kamen Ridery. It felt like it was a little bit creepier than they normally go.
Yeah, I just think like of all things, they picked like the perfect combination of dress code or like actress role for the thing, and then the monster. Because her being Red White Riding Hood and the monster being a wolf, and then like his like threat being like, "Oh, you sure look tasty in that outfit,"
Yeah.
but not like the hot way, just like the I'm gonna eat you way. I was like so stoked. I was like, "This is amazing."
Yeah, it was put together on purpose, certainly. I love that after she goes missing, they announce to her fan club meetup that she has gone missing. It seems like that's a thing you wouldn't say out loud on the intercom, but they do, which is great. Baku then transforms, of course, into his agent outfit very quickly, and he fucking hauls ass out of that room. He runs faster than I've ever seen him run in this episode, multiple times, and it's very funny. I don't know if you
Nem's his
noticed that.
favorite. Nem
Yeah,
is his favorite.
he's willing to just like put the rubber down to help her out. He runs into a parking structure and he instantly meets the monster who is riding a motorcycle and attempts to run him down. Which I was instantly excited that we were
I
getting
knew
some,
it.
some
I knew you were
motorcycle.
gonna say that because all I could think of was when the monster motorcycle showed up. I was like, well, if the monster has a motorcycle, and they actually let Zeztz ride the motorcycle, we're gonna get motorcycle nonsense. And I always remember how stoked you get when there's actually riding in Common Rider.
Hell yeah. Yeah, for people who care about the riding and Kamen Rider, we're eating good this week because we had motorcycle on motorcycle violence, and we almost never get that. It was great. We find out the mission for this week is track the missing, and we get a shot of Nem, and she's kind of tied up in a red room. It's very reminiscent of like things we saw during Geats. If you remember all the chains and stuff in the imagery in that show, we get to see that here.
Yeah, my greatest question is this a real thing, or is this just some bullshit they made up? And then eventually I found out that it was true, that it was just actually a thing we were gonna see in the episode or see in the show that season.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Next, Baku walks out the door and runs into Zero, and Zero tells him that he betrayed the organization. So Zero clearly not very happy with our hero.
I was I'm glad they did the aggressive carryover from last week. I was kind of shocked that we did like just them getting each other's faces angry stuff right away. But I'm glad they did. I thought the angle with that this week worked out amazingly as it went.
Yeah, I like the vibe between Baku and Zero so far because it feels very real. Where Baku has made it pretty clear that he like doesn't trust Zero, and like Zero also has lost his faith in Baku following orders and stuff. But like they haven't splitted, like they haven't parted ways, right? Like they're still working together. It's just sort of like there's a lot of tension there, and that feels way more real life than a lot of times we see in shows like this.
Yes, it's definitely the like the uneasy alliance of I don't trust you, you don't trust me, but we obviously both need to work with each other here to figure this out,
Yeah.
and we just kind of go with it.
Yep. Yeah, like Baku clearly, we've seen the pep talks along the way where he knows he's still doing the right thing and he just needs to figure out what the right thing is in as it pertains to code, basically. So yeah, like there's still sort of like they're still aligned for now, but like definitely a lot of friction. Baku runs off again, sprinting as fast as he can. He's really got it going on this time, and he suddenly falls through the air in Dream World. Turns out he fell out of bed in real life and woke himself up, which is great. I love that they are introducing that.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, he seems like a brick of a sound sleeper, but I guess yeah, if shit wakes him up. Shit wakes him up,
Yeah,
and I've definitely had dreams where I thought I was falling off of something. And it's just like I never fell out of bed, but I caught myself almost falling out of bed.
really. Yeah, and I love when the real world stuff with him affects the dream world like this. Like he dreams about falling, and because he's actually is falling in the real world. It's very cool. He wanders into the command closet, and who does he find? But his sister serving his police friends a succulent meal. And she tells him that now that she knows about his secret, she's going to be his manager. So she's going to be heavily involved, and certainly she is this episode, which I appreciated her increased presence for this episode. It's nice having her tag along to stuff.
I guess like we questioned, joked, stated weeks ago. It's possible that she would be the tertiary rider just because she's around. She is adjacent to the henshin closet.
Mhm.
And now more than ever, it seems like since she knows what's going on with him, I feel like the odds of her being transformed at some point have gone up because if he's ever in trouble, she knows where all the capsims are. She knows who to talk to. There's a real possibility now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the odds of it went way up this week with the goings on for sure. There's a very cute, funny scene here where Baku and what's his name, the male police officer, try to make up, I guess. So they'd kind of been at odds over over Knox and sort of the history there. So they now are making up, but basically they're forced by the women to do it. So like Nazca is like kicking the police officer, and Baku's sister is like urging him along, like shake hands now, let's do it, come on, we gotta go.
And it's funny too because they were both at least like halfway there. Like
Yeah,
they're both like they
they
Mulder.
were
I was just
ready
calling it
to make up. Yeah,
yeah, like they both kind of like whispered the sorries, and then their sidekicks were both like, put your whole heart into it. Like, don't just be like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever. It's like, no, you apologize. And it's funny because they did the forced handshake again. So like much like the guy, police cop, whatever, forced Baku to shake his hand 2 weeks ago when they broke up.
yeah,
The women
yeah.
had to like reforce them to shake hands again, and I thought that was cool. Just like a
It's
little
a
like
great.
fun nod of like, hey, look, they're doing the same thing, just different.
Yep, that's a great callback. Yeah, for sure. This was great too because it got to show like everybody's personality really, really well. I felt like Nazca got to do like the roundhouse kick like she always does, and we got to really see everybody and sort of what their normal mode is, I guess, in this. But
Yeah.
yeah, the handshake callback was great. They talk a little bit about the black case and catch the sister up on things, and they talk about a bike that people have been seeing
The ghost
around
bike.
various neighborhoods. Exactly, a ghost bike with no rider. Baku, of course, recognizes this as the same bike that he saw the nightmare riding. So they're trying to track down the bike to track down the nightmare. Then we cut back over to the, I guess, new location where we have our our new evil woman that we met in the last episode, and she is sending Knox out on a mission. She wants him to take a target alive, whoever the target may be.
We're gonna call them EDOC.
EDOC?
Yeah,
Oh, because like backwards code.
yeah.
I like it. That's good. Yeah,
You got there. Good job.
yeah. Thank you. I think this lady's great so far. She's very creepy, without doing anything overtly evil yet, but she just has this vibe about her, which is really, really creepy. She collects one of the butterflies that are floating around and puts it in this little ball, this capsum style ball, and hands it off to Knox. And she tells him to make a bad dream come true.
Yeah, it's like, and the way they do it is so spot on to like the way the code missions happen, but it's just like their own specific version of it still. Like they're the same, but they're like polar opposites. I thought it was
Yeah.
really cool the way they did the whole thing. And I think when we first talked about Nox and he was like, there's nightmares in the capsums, I'm pretty sure we guessed that butterflies went in them at some point, or they
Yep.
were going to, or something. So that's another
Yeah.
win by one of us.
Yeah, we definitely have talked about that. After Knox heads out, we cut over to Baku and his sister, and they're undercover, which is a hilarious outfit for both of them. They've got hats and sunglasses on, and they've gone to the hospital where Nim went missing in real life, and they're going to try to track some things down. They think the dreamer might be here, and who do they see but the fan that Baku was sitting next to in his dream? So he introduces himself as like, "Hey, remember me? I'm the number 7 fan from your dreams." So then she decides to go talk to them.
I think it's crazy that like, I guess we've done it a couple times now, and it's kind of okay. But like, think of all the times that like in media, real life, whatever, the line of like, "Oh, I'm the guy of your dreams, I'm the girl of your dreams," blah blah, blah, has been used as like some weird creepy thing. And they've normalized it so much in the show that like Baku walks up to a random girl he doesn't know, and he's like, "Oh yeah, remember me from your dream?" And I guess like the show doesn't work if people question it, but it's wild that like she just goes, "Oh yeah," and then there's just the conversations to be had. Because even if I dreamt about someone and they dreamt about me, like the dream wouldn't match up. And if I was like, "Oh, remember me from this?" it'd be like, "Who the hell are you? Get away from me!
Yeah.
You're a fucking weirdo."
Yeah, like people have bought into it, like you said, so willingly, and it's such a crazy thing to say to someone. Like, "Hey, I'm the person from your dreams. Don't you recognize me?" Like, okay, cool. Then that gets me into conversation with you. And in real life, it would be like, no, that makes me call the police. What is happening here? I think if someone came up and said that to me, and I actually did recognize them from my dream, I would think they had drugged me. That would be like my very first thought. Was like,
Something bad definitely happened there.
yeah, like did they drug me and I remember them from this weird, drugged state or something? Like I would think something extremely fishy is happening. But yeah, that doesn't seem to happen to him. Instead, the nurse tells us that basically that she explains how she was the nurse. She's a big fan, of course, of Nem. She was Nem's nurse. Nem went missing on her watch, and they decided not to report it to the police, which is a thing we knew from the previous episode. And
Does this
that,
make a conflict of interest to you?
oh
If you
yeah,
were, if you were A, the famous person, and B, your doctor or PA or whatever was like a diehard fan of yours, or vice versa, like that would be like instant red flags to me of, I don't know, I can trust this person because they're not going to be paying attention and blah blah blah.
yeah, I think that would be a weird thing that you probably ethically should excuse yourself from being that person's nurse. I think is how that should probably go, but I don't know. She certainly didn't, and then she felt bad about having not told the police. And apparently, the working theory is what has been causing the nightmare, is her distraught nature over this feeling.
Her deep-rooting guilt.
Yep, exactly. We get a cute little scene where Baku and his sister are walking, and he thanks her for helping him out, and she says like, "Hey, glad I get to like go with you on missions and stuff now, but you got to take care of yourself." And while they're talking, she gets a text from she's kind of a talent agent. She gets a text from the cardboard comedian, who we've met before. And we get to see her work for a little bit, which is very great because he's like, "Don't come find me," and she's like, "Well, clearly he wants me to find him." So then she workshops a text where she's like, "Oh my god, where are you? I need you so bad."
Yeah, because like even Baku's like joking around with her and saying like, "Wow, he seems needy," and she's like, "Yeah, he's so annoying with this." She's like, "He's not really lost. He's not missing. He's just playing these dumb games with me and wants me to respond."
Yeah, I feel like Baku is someone who like isn't good at like social cues like that, and she's gonna be like the pro at it for him. Like we got a little taste there of like maybe she can like that, like force him to shake hands with people he needs to make up with and stuff like that. Baku gets a call from Fujimi about the motorcycle. They found that the reports of the riderless motorcycle stop in a certain neighborhood, so they think the nightmare might be in that area. Which is cue for Baku to head out to investigate. He goes and meets up with Zero first, though, and this is kind of a reconciliation scene. Basically, Baku tells him that he wants to believe in the job of an agent, but he doesn't know anything about code in real life, and like obviously then doesn't know how to trust them very well. And then Zero kind of thinks about it for a while and decides that he's going to trust Baku for now. So they decide to continue working together, basically, despite the betrayal that Zero feels.
They're gonna try to make their uneasy alliance easy again.
Yep. I did get a little frustrated at Zero. I don't think I'm supposed to like Zero in this show, but I did get a little frustrated out of because of course Zero like meets the sister, right? And explains the whole thing to her. Then the sister specifically tells Zero, "Don't make my brother a murderer." Then Zero says, "Don't make your sister worried" to Baku. But then he gets on Baku's case about not murdering someone. Like, didn't
Yep.
you pay attention to what the sister told you? Like, it just seems crazy that he doubled down on the murdering after he had that conversation with the sister.
He's just a heartless robot.
He truly acts that way for sure. So he gives Baku the little device and tells him that he has to complete the mission by the book, but does say that he's come a long way. They head out and they do find the nightmare on the bike. Baku henshins and chases him down. The nightmare tries to lose him, but Baku can trap him. Excuse me. And we get the nightmare finally knocked off the bike after some awesome bike jousting.
I was disappointed that when Baku cast barrier and put like the half dome around them, that they didn't do like the circle of death thing that motorcycle people do, where they drive around in like the 360 globe. Like especially because it's a TV show, they can cheat and have them like drive around the top of the bubble and everything.
Yeah,
I was really hoping for more like bike fighting and not just like the bike joust.
yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, I would have for sure taken more. The ball of death would have been awesome if they had done that. That would have been a great thing. I did like what amount of bike riding we did get, which is 10,000 times more than normal, especially with the
racing and smacking each other and the bike joust and all this stuff.
They got to do some road raging, which was cool. I'm rewatching the scene now as we talk about it, and it's great. Yeah, the barrier though, you're right, should have been the ball of death, but the jousting was
that's
cool.
the fancy name for it. Yeah.
But yeah, the jousting was really cool, and I thought that specifically, I thought the Nightmare's bike was cool looking too. Like they had a funny face on it and stuff, and it looked very like monstrous. They didn't have to like do too much to it, but it certainly looked the part of something that a Nightmare would drive. The Nightmare, of course, is so we're fighting in the warehouse. Nem is trapped inside his stomach, is what he ends up telling us. And yeah, Zero shows up to confront the monster as well. And then, of course, very quickly after that, Nox appears as well. So now we've got the standoff between Nox, Baku, and Zero. But Zero tells Baku to complete the mission, chase after the monster. He's got a job to do, and kind of forces him to leave.
I'm shocked that like he did it. I guess part of their new trust exercise was I'm just gonna listen and do what I'm supposed to do. But I'm shocked they was just like, yeah, okay. Especially knowing that Zero hates Nox. And if the mission was murder Nox, I feel like by Baku walking away, you're acknowledging like, oh yeah, if you want to kill him, go for it. I don't care. Or I have other things to do, I guess. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it is an interesting choice on Baku's part. I guess like if he doesn't do it, like if he doesn't go follow the nightmare, the dreamer is still in danger, I guess. So there's that. So he has that draw that he wants to actually help out the dreamer. But I guess if he doesn't go, he's for sure severing ties with Zero at that point, right? Like it's him saying, "Okay, we clearly this isn't going to work out," and I think he wants to make it work enough still that he's willing to play ball a little bit. He probably also views Nox and Zero both as like big boys, so to speak, who can handle themselves, right? Like, all right, if you guys want to kill each other, then I guess go for it. I don't know. He also knows too that it's not just Zero trying to kill Nox. He knows that Nox also wants to kill Zero, so it probably is pretty even.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do fight. Nox and Zero battle. It's a very cool battle to start out with, and during the battle, Zero is able to knock the capsim out of the driver that Nox has and force him to dehenshin. And Zero is like, basically, he gets all smug about it and like, yeah, this isn't yours. You can't use this. But in a big twist of fate, Nox pulls out a different driver with his new dark capsim that he got earlier in the show, and he is able to henshin into a new form that we haven't seen before that is multicolored.
Yeah, it was definitely sick looking. I was shocked that the bad guy is like burning through suit upgrades already.
Yeah.
But it was still cool. I was like, holy shit, like now we're going like full EDOC mode Nox instead of like code Nox, which I think is a nice touch.
Yeah, I like that he gets the upgrade here. I think that's neat. And I also like that he gets now his unique driver. Like it made sense that he was using the same one, for storyline reasons, but now it's cool that he, he's off in his own organization now. He's got his own boss. He's got his own driver. He's ready to go. And this driver is cool. So it's still a chest mount, but it has 2 spots on it. And it seems like he puts the ball in and then it splits in half, maybe like it folds open from what I could tell.
Yeah, that's basically what it looked like. Yeah, at least to me too.
Yeah, but the driver itself rotates, which is very reminiscent of the driver from Kamen Rider Geo. So that one you'd put the things on the side and then you'd spin the whole driver as part of the henshin sequence, and he kind of can do that here too. It also seems to like project an image in front of him, which I'm really curious to find out if the toy does that or if that was just for the show. But if the toy does that, that's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, that would definitely be awesome.
But yeah, I thought the driver, I want a better look at it, in the toy form, but I thought, yeah, at least functionality wise in the show, it was pretty cool. And this form of Nox is awesome looking too. It's like half red and blue, and then the other half is kind of his more traditional Nox colors, and he's kind of split down the middle. He looks a little bit like Kamen Rider build with the red and the blue and kind of the halvesies split, but it's a cool looking form, and the helmet changes a bit too and makes it a little bit sleeker, which I think is neat looking.
Yeah, I like Nox's new suit is fantastic for all the things we can ask him for suits.
Yeah. I also noticed too that they tailor the shoulders on the Nox suit very pointy, and it looks cool. It makes him look like he is wearing a uniform more than he's wearing just spandex, and that's a thing I don't see him do super often. During this battle, though, Nox gets the upper hand, and he he freaking rips the heart out of Zero is essentially what happens here. He plunges his hand into his chest, he pulls out a bunch of electronics, and Zero falls off the balcony, sparking along the way. He hits the ground, he explodes into a giant fireball, which is pretty definitive, I would say.
I would assume, barring any dumb I downloaded in my brain bullshit, I would agree. And then I was also curious if Zero knew that this was going to happen, and that's why he told Baku, hey, after this mission, I'll tell you everything you have to know, because he knew he was going to die, so he knew he'd never have to tell him anything, but it would still keep him going to do code things.
Oh, maybe. And I mean definitive in the sense, like, we've known from the beginning that Zero is a remote controlled I guess robot, essentially. Like, he's not the person in the robot. The consciousness is not in the robot, I don't think is how they explained it. He's being controlled from somewhere else. So, like, the body of Zero certainly got destroyed here, but like, Zero will still be a going concern in the show, I think, in some way, is my guess.
Or at least,
but
like, the man behind the eyes will be the person going forward, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But that certainly is what they set up at the beginning, is that he is not Zero. It is a person controlling a robot, which certainly could lead to some interesting things, like the reveal of who Zero is. Could be cool, or could be, shrouded in mystery for a while. Who knows?
I feel like we've done too much. We've done a lot early in this show. I feel like if the voice of Zero or 0.1 or whatever the next piece of this timeline is, I feel like we need some time to let this simmer before we start doing the next piece.
Could be, yeah. And they got time. They got plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like I said at the top here, this episode was fantastic for me. It had a lot of stuff that I liked. Of course, we talked about all the biking stuff. I love motorcycle riding in my Kamen Rider, so I was super happy about that. But the Nox form is great. I love the look of that, and I really, really like Baku's sister getting more involved, kind of in the team, so to speak. I like her going out on the little missions and stuff. I think their relationship is very, very good and written very well. So getting to showcase that off more is, I think, a positive for the show. So yeah, I'm really excited about the directions that we're going here from this, kind of kicking off this arc. And then, of course, we've got some emails about the show. So let's jump over to those. Cast@KamenWriterSucks.com is where you can send those emails if you have things that you want to tell us. It will more than likely get read on the show if you send it our way. Again, it's cast@KamenWriterSucks.com. First email this week comes in from Jordan. Jordan has written in before to give us some tidbits on O's and other things. And Jordan this week is sending us an email with the subject line, Kamen Rider Nox, Anti-Code and Nox's Loose Morals. Jordan says, K16 has given us the debut of Kamen Rider Nox, adding him to the list of individuals who've also upgraded from pseudo-riders to Kamen Riders, using the Shadow Capsum, which the wiki has revealed to me to contain the Shadow Nightmare, the one that was haunting his dreams. Okay, so there you go. These new capsums are also physically different than the ones Code has, being able to open up when used in the Nox driver. We've also seen how this new anti-code organization, or EDOC, as we came up with today, is going to create these new capsums moving forward by using those butterflies. I also wanted to address what I think about Nox's loose moral code. The reason he became an agent in the first place was to prevent the nightmare from endangering people. Yet, he seems to have no problem helping them or fighting Baku, preventing him from dealing with them, even though I'm positive the two of them have an underlying respect for each other as professionals. I know he doesn't like Code, and for good reason, but it just seems like his morals might have shifted after being trapped, or he might have another angle I just can't see yet. I'm sure this is all leading up to Nox having a turnaround and becoming a real ally of Baku. I think Zero might join as well, becoming a rogue agent, mainly as an excuse for us to keep using the base. What do you two think? Yeah, what's your read on Nox's goals here?
I think the main driver was slash is to destroy the system that turned against him.
Yeah.
So I don't know where Boss Lady comes in, since if it was just like his dream, I feel like he would be in charge of Edoc. But maybe the lady is like Agent 2 or Agent 1 or Agent 3,
Oh yeah.
and like we kind of talked about, hey, we could do a movie to do backstory people, blah blah. Like maybe that group is just all the alive X code agents who are like, fuck that place, they screwed me over, they screwed you over, let's get them back.
Yeah, it very well could be. That's a pretty good guess. My guess for like the explanation for why he's working with this woman and stuff is that I think you're right. I think that his driving factor is going to be like destroying code, and that's become his moral compass essentially. Like he will do things that maybe are a little reprehensible if it leads to the downfall of Zero and the downfall of code. So along those veins, I think that there's a chance that working with that woman maybe is a thing that he wouldn't necessarily agree with, but she's a means to an end. Like she's the way that he can get the shadow capsums and he can get powered up and become stronger in order to defeat code. And maybe that's like a thing he's just putting up with for now, to get what he wants. Or maybe he truly believes in her mission of bad dreams. I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's certainly fun to find out. Yeah.
yep, exactly. We're all set up to see where this crazy path takes us.
Yeah, it's cool that they have a villain who is clearly a very conflicted villain, and like, there's a lot more that you can tell us about him within his motivations and stuff. Like we know enough to sort of know why he's done the things he's done, or a lot of the things he's done, but there's still like a lot of questions, and that's great writing. They've done a good job. Do you think that Zero is eventually going to like turn it around and be like a super good guy? I don't think so. I think Zero ends up getting worse and worse as the show goes on.
I'd probably say worse, or at least like I feel like the only way code survives as a code thing, and with Kamen Rider shows usually ending happy, would be like Baku takes over code for good. And
Yeah.
then like code can be the offices of the Black Case Hunters, him, his sister as a manager, like ghost busting, happy vibes kind of ending, instead of code being the crappy thing it is kind of deal.
Ooh, I love that. I hope that is the end. That's a nice feel good ending. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yep. All right. Well, Jordan, thanks very much for the email. And yeah, we'll keep watching, keep figuring Knox out. We also got an email this week from our friend Shade. Shade says, "Greetings, everyone, and Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a wonderful time during the break, and congratulations to Josh on his Tokusatsu Explained video. Last time I checked, the video's been doing really well, and I think it's his best one so far. Although if I had to give some constructive criticism, I feel like you should have focused more on Ultraman. I know you did mention it in passing, but Ultraman's such a big deal that only mentioning it is not doing the big guy enough justice. It's like if somebody made a really well done video on how cool comic books are, but only mentioned Superman once. Video's still great though." Thanks
No
very
one
much,
should
Shade.
no one should mention Superman. He is the worst hero.
Yeah, I'm sure that the Ultraman lack of information is probably just my personal bias, being the thing I know the least about of the kind of big three. If you're talking,
No. You don't do this.
I don't.
You don't worry your little head and heart about these sorts of things. Don't let people don't take people's critiques about your artistic vision.
All right, thanks, Dad.
No problem.
But yeah, the video's been great. People have been very responsive, very receptive to it. So if you haven't checked it out, yeah, go check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/prettydeece. Yeah, it is. It's called Tokusatsu Explained. It's got a couple different titles. It was doing like the A/B testing thing, but you'll find it there in the most recent videos. and yeah, it's got like 8,000 views, which is good for me. And everybody in the comments was very kind, which is shocking for a YouTube comment section, and people were very positive. So yeah, it's doing well. I'm working on the next big video now, and it's gonna be about a Kamen Rider video game, which is fun.
Ooh.
So I it's got a lot more work to go on that one before it's ready, but we're working on it. So yeah, thanks for the kind words there, Shade. Shade goes on to say, let's check out the case file for number 16. At the start of the episode, we see Baku's undercover. We see Baku undercover at Nem's fan meeting. According to the blog, the actor for Baku had to film multiple takes of him dancing on the stage. He said that it felt like a full body workout that left him with muscle pain in strange places. This is the person who is supposed to be Kamen Rider, by the way. This is the most workout he's apparently gotten.
Yeah, good for them.
Apparently, the signature on the card, the fan club card, was written by Nem herself, and the song that plays during the scene was an original character song sung by Nem called "Nemu Nemu Nemotion," which is pretty great. The cast ate some New Year's food on set, so there's some cool behind the scenes pictures of that. Shade says for the dream disguises when they are in the hospital, he likes them a lot. They're always so well done. But the real life disguises, sorry, the real life being the ones in the hospital there, have been extremely conspicuous on purpose. Great detail from the costume department. Yeah, very much like I'm clearly trying to disguise myself type costumes. Next, we get to the action. We get another bike chase scene to start off the year, and Zeztz even did an Akira slide. Yeah, that's true. There was a full-on Akira slide.
They did it all. They
Yep.
did it all.
If you're riding a bike, you gotta do at least one slide. Then we get to the debut of Kamen Rider Nox. Yes, you heard that right. Nox uses the Nox driver and the Shadow Capsum given to him by the Lady to become the proper Kamen Rider Nox. He's not just Nox Knight anymore. Like Zero pointed out, his rider gear was not created by Code, so they work differently from Zetz's driver and Capsum. Unlike Code's Capsums, which work by trapping a nightmare into a capsule and activating its powers by spinning the capsum, Nox's Capsums work by cracking open the capsule and releasing the nightmare. Yes, just like a Pokeball. What's really interesting about Nox's nutrient transformation is that he's using the powers of his own Shadow Nightmare from the last time, similar to how Baku is using Plasma. Also, remember how Nox's actor accidentally leaked a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff around 2 months ago? Yeah, it's for this episode. The blog also gave some more insight on why this form in particular is different from Nox Knight. They said the transformation is as if the Shadow Capsum loaded into the driver has cracked, releasing the power of the nightmare. The antenna that had been blocking Nox's compound eyes moves away from both eyes as if he is opening them, completing the mask. Abandoning the Nox Knight form from his days as an agent, he felt a sense of freedom from the organization he had always hated and the awakening of his new powers.
When people explain it, it sounds way cooler. Or adds a layer of cool, I guess. Not way cooler.
Yeah, they clearly have like thought about it on a deep level, which is always nice to hear. For the battle between Nox and Zero, the blog jokes that in this scene, suit actor Toku, who played Nox Knight and Zero, used the power of projection to duplicate himself and act as both characters. But apparently, really, Toku is acting as Kamen Rider Nox in the scene, and someone else is playing Zero. The blog then praises Zero's voice actor Jay Kabira's performance in this scene. Quote, I was moved by the way Jay's voice synchronized with Zero's suit actor's performance of Zero being defeated. Kabira's voice was so skillful that it was hard to believe it was his first time voice acting a battle scene. Seeing the finished footage made it even more painful. Shade says, by the way, before we sign off on the case file section, I'd like to encourage everyone to check out the series of sister sub-stories spin-offs with Baku's sister, if you could find them, of course. I've been catching up on a bunch of the ones I missed, and I think that Minami's actor has really been good in those. You get to see her working her day job and taking care of Baku. The recent episode even has her talking to Zero a couple times. So far, the spinoff still doesn't add much to the main show, but if you like Minami in the show, you'll probably like the spinoff too. Yeah, I think I might actually like that because this episode really made me realize how much I liked her. So yeah, the getting to see her do more of her job specifically sounds very interesting to me. After we
I
got to
think
see
they're only
like
like 3 minutes too.
yeah, they're very short. Yeah, but I think that they've been doing a bunch of them.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, in the beginning, it was like it was 1 for 1,
yeah, which
and
I think
then
I'm assuming has continued. I don't really know.
yeah,
I
I
guess
haven't looked recently.
I can look it up and see real quick and give the people the information. If I can find it, it's just called Sisters, I think, right? Yeah, they're up to 16 of those too. So they've been doing 1 for 1, which is crazy. But yeah, I think you can burn through them pretty fast because they're pretty short. So yeah, I'll go check those out. I'll download them all tonight. Shane goes on to say he's got some news and tidbits from the last 2 weeks. First up is something you guys are probably not expecting. Remember back in Gav, when Uncle Dente died, he left the whole gang some messages, but we only got to hear his message for Rakia. Do you remember the messages, Toby?
Vaguely.
Okay. Well, the rest of the messages were included in a new edition of the Gav phone. So I have the messages here.
That's hilarious.
It's great. Yeah. So this is from the DX, the deluxe Gav phone, Rakia and Dente edition. So his message to Shoma is, do I look scary in this upward angle shot? So I think he's like recording a video. Oh, great. That's perfect. That's my best angle. Well, Shoma, are you watching? I'm getting old and I don't have much time left. So I wanted to leave a short message just in case something happens to me at any moment. I'm so glad I met you both. I was able to find happiness in my final moments thanks to Shoma. Even though I'm such a sinner, you still stayed by my side and fought on with unwavering faith. You're a truly strong child. I hope I could be of some help to you, even if it's just a little. For Honto, he said, as for Hunty, I must have caused you a lot of trouble and pain. I'm so sorry. For a human like you to fight Granoots, it must have been far more difficult than I imagined. If I'm gone, there will be no one to tend to your wounds. I truly feel guilty. For Sachika, he said, Sachan, my appearance must be scary to you, huh? But thank you for always being cheerful with me. I really enjoy talking to you, Sachan. I wonder how many more times we'll get to talk. ... And then for Rocky, he said, oh, one last thing, Rocky. The antidote you requested, I just finished making it. I hope it'll be useful. No, maybe it's best if I never get a chance to use it. Ho, ho, ho. If it's you who once planned to eliminate me but changed your mind, then I can definitely trust you. I'm leaving the rest to you, which is, of course, what we saw on the show. That's cool. I will say, like, for those, I mean, those are cute little messages, but just the idea of like adding more story to the show via like a toy release is really great.
Yeah, especially like, I guess we're like not that far away from it, but far enough. Like, it's not new anymore.
No, exactly. So yeah, special edition of the phone comes out, and we get these fun little story follow-ups that we never thought we'd hear. Shane says, next up, we've got a trailer for Kamen Rider Zetz's Hyper Battle DVD. The special will be an Ultraman parody of sorts, speaking of which, with Zeztz using Paradigm Wonder to grow giant and fight against kaiju-sized nightmares alongside Zero. This is especially funny because 0 and 7 are actual Ultraman character names. That's going to be a crazy show. I'm looking at an image of it and looking at a little bit of the trailer. And yeah, they're just giant. It's
Awesome.
Kamen Rider Zeztz, but just the size of a building, like in the end of a Power Rangers, basically. So yeah, that'll be a fun hyper battle to check out. And then finally on Christmas, Toei revealed the full reveal for Super Space Sheriff Gavan Infinity. So they put out a trailer and they put out some better images of the characters. So we get to finally see like the full costume in proper lighting for Gavan Infinity, Gavan Bushido, and Gavan Luminous. And yeah, I think it looks cool. I think I might be at the point now where like I don't really want to see anymore. I just want the show to come out and I want to watch it when it comes out. I think I've hit that point. Because the suits look cool and I think the show sounds cool and I'm just ready to see it. And then their spaceship mech gun thing is named Cosmo Gavarian. Shade says they've announced some more stuff on the staff members who work on the show. Most notably, the writer for Gavan Infinity will be Atsuhiro Tomioka. There we go, Tomioka. He previously worked on Boon Boomjer and the Pokemon anime. The plot summary for the show is 3 Gavans appear in the story. They exist in different dimensions, not a team. The universe is not one. In the overlapping multiverses, or cosmo layers, there is another Earth that looks exactly like the Earth we live in. The main character, Gavan Infinity, is a space detective who can transcend dimensions. What kind of cases will be solved in a wide variety of dimensions, and why can Gavan Infinity transcend dimensions? A new Gavan legend. We also know the show premieres on February 15th, so very soon. Recently, producer Shirakura, the guy who's in charge of everything, did another interview talking about Kamen Rider and Project Red. The whole thing is super long, so I'll just list the bullet points. About Gav, it's been well received. Shirakura was in Shanghai and he went to see the meet and greet event with Shoma and Hanto's actors and was moved by the fan reaction. About Zeztz, he says the show has been doing very well internationally, but it didn't do as well as he expected in Japan. However, the story is building up, so he expects interest in the series will grow. Taka from Kotetsu Toys in Japan did a video covering some of the Japanese fans' criticism. Most of the stuff they criticize are stuff I like, so I don't know how to feel about that, Shade says. And then in the interview about Kamen Rider's 55th anniversary in 2026, they're apparently planning to hold a press conference in April to announce some stuff that they've been working on, including some standalone Kamen Rider film projects. That's certainly very exciting because the last one of those was really good. When they did Shin Kamen Rider. So I would be interested to see more of those things. And then some of the other points that Shade finds important. Project Red may not always focus on henshin heroes. They've already started working on the next 2 installments of Project Red already. He gives confirmation that Super Sentai is only on hiatus, hasn't totally been ended or canceled yet. They can still make anniversary Sentai movies and specials. And they didn't want to announce the end of Sentai until they decided on Gavan Infinity being the next installment because it could make viewers feel even more uneasy. Shade says that's all for what's happened in the past 2 weeks. There was some smaller stuff I haven't covered yet, but we'll leave that for next time. With all the news about Gavan Infinity, I have recently started my semi-rewatch of the original Space Sheriff Gavan. I watched the show a long time ago, and I've never finished it, so I'm starting over from the beginning that I can be on top of all the references and details. I'm currently halfway through Gavan right now, and I'm having a great time. So if there are any listeners that are interested in the new Gavan Infinity news, this is your sign and encouragement to check out the original Space Sheriff Gavan. I guess my shame is that I own Space Sheriff Gavan on Blu-ray, and I have not watched it either. So I should also start doing that in preparation. All right, and that's Shade's email. Shade, thanks very much for all the info. A lot of stuff there, and a lot going on. There's a lot of good stuff coming up for all of our toku shows here. All right, so once again, cast@KamenRiderSucks.com is that email address if you want to send emails in. And of course, Toby, we have a Patreon. We'd love for you to check out the Patreon. Patreon.com/TheCommentWriters is where you can find that. And for just $3 a month, you get access to all the bonus content that we put out, which is mostly in the form of what we call Watch and Reacts, where Toby and I watch a toku show. You get to watch along with us, and you get to hear our thoughts and our commentary and our jokes along the way. They're certainly fun to do. Hopefully they're fun to watch. We have watched through a bunch of shows so far. Right now we're watching through Don Brothers and Goes Yuger. And if you sign up now for just the $3 a month, you get access to all the stuff that we've ever watched. So you can have quite the binge sesh if you so choose. You also get access to the Discord as part of that Patreon, and it's super fun hanging out in the Discord and talking about Kamen Rider news and stuff. It's a nice little community that we've got there. If you're not quite ready for the $3, we also have a free follow that you can give the Patreon, and we have the first few episodes of every show that we've watched up for free, so you can give a little taste there and see if you like it and see if it's worth your hard-earned dollar. We'd like you to check it out for sure. So again, patreon.com/the comment writers is where you could find that. And with that, Toby, why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Asleep in my bed from my horrible, horrible disease. As well as Life of Tobes on Twitter and Tobes Plays on YouTube. I had to unmute myself to mute my death noises before I talked.
Fair enough. Yeah, so we'll let Toby go go get some rest, and we'll call it an episode here. You can find me on Blue Sky at meek.lol. You can also follow the show on Blue Sky at commonwritersucks.com. Of course, do check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/prettydeece. If you want to see that latest video essay that I made, which is certainly fun. So there's some unique stuff going up on the YouTube channel in addition to the podcast episodes. So it's worth checking out, even if you listen to the podcast on Spotify or whatever. Yeah, so that's going to do it for us for this week. We'll be back next time to talk about episode 17 and see what's going on with Baku and Nox and Zero maybe being dead. And we do hope you join us back for that. But in the meantime, we hope you have a great week. Peace, everybody.